The Indian Air Force and French Air Force joining against China, Pakistan as the tension rises with war games. The Rafale Jets and the Su-30 jets joining for the first time to thwart China and Pakistan. In a major development amid the ongoing border conflict with China, the Rafale fighter jets of India and France will carry out war games codenamed Exercise SKYROS in Jodhpur of India in the third week of January in 2021. The French Air Force Rafale fighter jets would be coming to Jodhpur for the SKYROS war games, which we would see them flying with Indian Rafales from the 17th Squadron and Su-30 Mki fighter jets deployed there, said a government source to ANI News. The Chinese media report said J-10C and J-11B fighter jets, early warning aircraft KJ-500 and electronics warfare aircraft Y-8 participated in 20-day joint exercises with Pakistan, which had begun on December 7th of 2020. On the Pakistan side, JF-17 and Mirage-3 fighter jets took part in the drills. Both sides had also deployed a special operation units. For the first time, the Chinese naval aviation had sent its warplanes to a joint exercises with a foreign country. With the India and the France exercises, which is the first major war game of the Indian Air Force involving the Rafale fighter jets, which were inducted into the service in August of 2020, the war games being conducted are different from the routine Garuda series exercise that the two sides have been carrying out for more than a decade now. India had last carried out major exercises with the French Air Force in July of 2019, where the Indian Sukhais had flown with the French Rafales. A Chinese military aviation expert, Fu Quinchao, told state-owned Global Times of China that the J-10C and J-11B are very suitable jets to stimulate India's fighter jets in a mock battles. Fu also said that many aspects of J-10C mid-size fighter jet, including the size, aerodynamic characteristics, aviation and weapon system, and overall combat capability, and comparable to the French-made Rafales. Fu noted that the participation of J-11B heavy fighter jets was also a strategic as they have a similar appearance to India's Su-30 combat aircraft. Now the IAF is also planning to use Rafales and Su-30s in integrated mode, and a lot of steps have already been taken in this direction by the service. The Rafales and the Su-30s have been deployed in tandem by the Indian Air Force in the eastern Ladakh against the Chinese Air Force, which has been flying regularly from bases close to India. France has been helping India to arm its Air Force as India is getting 36 of the Rafale fighter jets from there as part of 60,000 crore rupee deal. The last aircraft under the deal is likely to be received by the end of 2021. However, following the induction of the Rafale fighter jets, some experts have projected an edge for India over Pakistan. Amid the ongoing border standoff with China, the New Delhi had requested France to ensure timely delivery of the fighter jets. The heavier than the Chinese J-10, the Rafale has a greater thrust-to-weight ratio when it comes to the same weight of fuel and weapons on two fighter jets. India has deployed Rafale fighter jets in the Ladakh amid the standoff with China, drawn from Rafale's experience in the combat operations in Mali, Afghanistan, Libya, Iraq and Syria. One can safely assume that French-made aircraft has an edge because J-10C, just like any other Chinese fighter aircraft, has never been in a battle. Notably, China has deployed a variant of J-10 along the line of actual control in the Himalayas. As both Pakistan and China have a common rival, India, their Air Force focused on large-scale aerial battles and close-quarters aerial support during the Shaheen 9 exercise. So what do you think of Indian Air Force and French Air Force having a joint war games against Chinese and Pakistan? India gives green light to use firearms against China, alongside the Indian Navy is flexing its muscles to counter Chinese development in the Indian Ocean and in the South China Sea. India sends a clear message to China. India has now given the green light for the Indian military to use firearms to defend themselves with any Chinese tactics of using mass or seeking to outnumber Indian soldiers. Like the 15 June Galwan Valley clash, a top Indian government source said. India and China have been locked in a standoff since April 2020. Both sides have been deploying more troops, with China has deployed around 50,000 soldiers and equipments, including missile defense system, tanks, artillery at the India-China border. China has said that India has changed its rules of engagement for the LAC, where the use of firearms was barred under a bilateral agreement. According to a source, China's words cannot be taken seriously, as they speak one thing and do anything. So, disengagement from the Chinese side has to be taken as a pinch of salt. Chinese soldiers have outnumbered Indian troops during the Galwan Valley clash, which will not be the same now, as India has now changed its rule of engagement in the China-India border. Both sides sources said they are likely to stay deployed in the forward areas of Ladakh through the winter, with China insisting on disengaging from the southern bank of Pangkang so fast after the 29th August incident, where the Indian army has recaptured its positions in several heights from the Chinese army. India is now flexing its muscles with its navy around the Indian Ocean. It is now deepening ties with countries who want to counter China. India, which operates one of the world's largest navies, has to do more to counter China along with its allied countries. While China has vastly outpaced the Indian and the US Navy swiftly, India is playing its part by inducting new submarines, frigates, destroyers, and also building more of them. But US Pentagon has already said China has outpaced even the US Navy for now in the Indo-Pacific region, but that too will change soon. China now has the capability to move forward with its navy anywhere it wants, as its navy is rapidly developing to match the US and other countries. For now, China has limited option to operate in the Indian Ocean. India has stepped up its work here in the Indian Ocean by joining hands with US, France, and building new naval bases with its friendly countries to counter China. The gap between the Indian Navy and the Chinese Navy is likely to grow in coming years, as China's economy bouncing back while India is battered by the coronavirus pandemic and shrinking according to the Indian news medias. So what do you think of India giving green light to engage against Chinese any intrusion and miscalculation, and Indian Navy is flexing its muscles and not only in Indian Ocean, also in the South China Sea?